Hi, welcome to another video segment for the Leadership Journey. I'm your host, Kit Allowitz, checking in today. In a moment, I'll be introducing Kathleen Spindler. She's going to be talking about the 5 foundational principles, sometimes called the Fab Five. Now, I love Kathleen's aggressive, outspoken admiration, hard work, love for the foundational principles. I think there's something magical about these 5 foundational principles on the way to some 64 total principles. They're simple but hard. They're insightful but can be revolutionary. We've all been through the LEAD program, or most of us have, and we really take to heart the foundational 5 principles as the starting point for our individual journey through integration of the programs, internalizing, and then eventually on our way to this idea of institutionalization. So without further ado, I introduce to you Kathleen Spindler talking about the 5 foundational principles and how those have impacted and been part of her life. Take it away, Kathleen.
When you hear the word foundation, what comes to mind? A foundation is something such as an idea, a principle, or a fact that provides support for something. When I think of the 5 foundational LEAD principles, many images come to my mind. That's because I've come to learn and understand that they are the foundational principles for the other principles we've learned in our Leadership Journey program. So let me start by telling you my journey to fall in love with these 5 foundational principles. The journey, and especially my first 5 sessions of the LEAD program, gave me tons to think about and many places to go. But luckily, my one-on-one coaching sessions with Matt Chudkowsky gave me perspective to keep my focus and know how I wanted to continue my journey. I showed up to my first coaching session with my printout of all 60 plus principles, like this one. I wanted to have a copy with me at all times. In the binder I received during the LEAD program, a copy in the notebook I carried around with me, a copy at home when I wanted to remember something and make a comment, something to help me commit them all to memory. And Matt kindly reminded me that the principles themselves have no power. A principle only has power when someone personifies the principle. Matt also reminded me that the first 5 principles we learned about serve as the foundation for all the rest. The principles are ideas that must be internalized and then become evident in how I approach things, how I think about things, and ultimately conduct myself. Luckily, they aligned easily with things that I had been taught as a child, learned through experience, and valued about working at Anderson Hauser, this unique family-owned company. Things like treat others as you wish to be treated, for example, tracks to me with similar versus different. When I see myself in others, the differences that we have aren't so great. And sometimes the small differences in how we see a situation and work together ultimately can make us great. I learned that the change must always start with me. It's up to me to understand the principles, integrate them into what I do each day. And this gave me permission to lighten up on both myself and on others. Through time, my focus changed from pushing to get the things done that I believed needed to be done. I stopped doing this and started with myself. When I started with myself and made sure that my head was in the right place, I realized that I had the power to begin to change the environment because I was different, even sometimes just very slightly different. This doesn't mean that I don't strive to get things done, but it does mean it's more important to accomplish things now with others and not alone. So one small step in starting with the 5 foundational principles helped me to stay true to myself, my values, and my own foundation. I can be the same person in the office as I am at home. I can strive to be the best employee that I can be, a teammate folks want to be on a team with, a person that others count on, trust, and willingly work with. I just have to have the humility to admit that I always have more to learn and the courage to keep going.